me too.
Final score, Illinois 21, South Carolina 17. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Jack Veltri. And for the last time this year, we take you live from the scene of the crime. And look, South Carolina's season ends in heartbreaking fashion, losing to an Illinois team that I think we felt pretty comfortable that they were better than. But sometimes things don't go your way in these bowl games. And so a little bit of offensive rust, a little bit of rust on defense. Jack, a whole lot happened, including a coach altercation. Shane Beamer and Brett Bielema chummy yesterday at the press conference.
Oh, yeah.
Not so chummy with 1:13 left to go in the third quarter. A whole lot to unpack from this game. But, Jack, you think about this football game right now, what's some of the lasting memories that you're going to have of the 2024 Cheez-It Citrus Bowl?
Yeah, just a weird game. A lot happened in this game. Good, bad, everything in between. It was a little sloppy at times. It got a little chaotic, too. Just a lot happened in this game, but I mean, look, it feels like South Carolina had a good chance to win this game at the end. Obviously, that fourth down play where Lenore Sellers threw to Josh Simon, I think the throw was a little bit low.
A little bit.
I think it could have been caught for sure, but it just went in and out of Josh Simon's hands, and it's just one of those plays where it's like, they've made them all year, and they've had all these big plays to win these games down the stretch in this 6-game winning streak before tonight, but you fell short, and got to give Illinois a lot of credit.
A lot of trips inside Illinois' side of the field. One thing I'm going to remember is some of the inopportune ways that you didn't finish drives, right? It took you until the third quarter before you finally scored a touchdown. Your first half without a score or without a touchdown since the Ole Miss game. And I think they really stalled out, not because they just weren't completely having drives. I think they had a couple of good ones, but you look back at the Jawarn Howell fumble. You look at going for it on fourth down, deep into the red zone, and being a little frisky with that special teams fake field goal in which Kai Kroger took the snap and tried to find Boogie Huntley in the end zone. Boogie couldn't corral it. You had opportunities in the red zone. You had opportunities on the Illinois side of the football field, and whether it be turnover on downs, weren't able to really connect on a lot of those. I think that was a killer also. I just thought Illinois ran the ball with way too much ease in situational football. At one point, you got it down to where they're rushing for less than 4 yards a carry, but on third and shorts, fourth and shorts, anytime you got in that short distance range and you knew Illinois was going to run the ball, you couldn't stop it. And TJ Sanders told us, after the game that Illinois loaded up that offensive line. They added a couple extra linemen. There were a couple times during this game where they had 8 on the offensive line, and I think that gave South Carolina a whole lot of fits today. I didn't know if they were as prepared for that as maybe they should have been.
Yeah, look, I mean, Shane kind of owned up to after the game, Illinois is just a really good team. He kind of compared it to, people, I think a lot of people, honestly, and I think we included, honestly, I think everyone kind of just overlooked Illinois, kind of thinking okay, South Carolina is the better team. You see the double-digit point favorite spread and all that sort of stuff. You're like, okay, South Carolina is going to take care of business. I picked South Carolina to win this game 35-20, and I was dead wrong.
I picked them to win the game by 20 points.
Illinois did a great job of moving the ball down the field. They ran the ball really effectively.
Yeah.
That running back McCray, that dude's a baller. That's a good player right there.
That 60-yarder at the end of the game was the backbreaker.
That killed you. We could say as much as we want about South Carolina killing itself to not win this game with obviously the missed field goal, which has happened quite a lot this year. You also have the situation with the fake field goal thing where I don't even know what you call it really.
That was interesting to say the least. I don't know if I would have done it, but I found it to be an interesting play call.
I will say this, though, for anyone out there saying that the play was dumb and it was stupid and all this and that, and Shane Beamer was an idiot for running it, I disagree fully. It was a well-designed play.
He had him open. In terms of the play design, I felt like he had Boogie. I think the throw wasn't executed at its best.
We've seen Kai Kroger have these touchdown passes throughout his college career. He should have had this one. The problem was it was such a high arcing lob pass to Boogie in the end zone.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that in a second, but it's that gave Illinois enough time to get back there and make a play on the ball, and obviously got knocked free. So give credit to Illinois in that play. But I also will say, if you had put a tight end out there I think maybe you end up hauling that pass in. If it's a Josh Simon, Maurice Brown, Michael Smith, literally any other guy. Boogie's a defensive lineman. That makes it a lot tougher. Not excusing it, but it's you have, I think, a better chance of executing a really good play if you have someone else in there maybe.
And of course, all of our social media coverage this week at the Citrus Bowl brought to you by Lexington Medical Orthopedic. Thanks to them for being our sponsors for our social media coverage of the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and many events moving forward. But Jack, I want to ask you a question right now in terms of the run game, because there were two big opt-outs, Kyle Kennard, Rocket Sanders. How would you kind of grade the South Carolina run game even without Rocket Sanders? Josh Simon after the game said that, offensively they had some fits because Illinois stacked the box a lot. Even without Rocket Sanders there, they still stacked the box a lot. And, Oscar Attaway had the nice touchdown run, but at the same time, they ran into a lot of walls and maybe had some very not-so-big plays in the run game. Illinois, to their credit, that front seven played really well.
If I had to grade it like I do usually every week on Gamecock Central, I would say probably about a B. I think Oscar Attaway did a really good job tonight. Like, he had over 100 yards of all-purpose, receiving and rushing.
He was a good safety valve on a lot of those pass plays.
Look,
he was a safety valve.
I think if Rocket weren't in the picture this year, Oscar would be the RB1, obviously. And maybe we don't see almost 900 yards of production this season, but Oscar's been that guy before. It's been an RB1, so he's used to it. He did a good job filling in tonight, and look, he's more, I don't think he's the huge, speedy type of back, but he's the big, get downhill type back that can kind of plow through people. And we kind of saw that a lot tonight. A lot of short runs, but it was well done. And then he had the big run for 36 yards for a touchdown. So overall, very good. I was impressed with Jawarn Howell as well. He showed some glimpses.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for what this running back room is going to look like next year. And by the way, Oscar does have another year of eligibility. He did confirm that for sure tonight. I know it's kind of up in the air with eligibility and stuff, but Oscar's got another year. We'll see if he ends up coming back, but definitely would serve him well.
Oh, yeah. And my thing with Jawarn Howell is I actually think that when Jawarn Howell is in the open field, I think he might be more dangerous of a runner. With straight line speed, he might be a little more agile. Oscar's just really tough, man. And I thought Oscar played really well in that spot. I would have loved to see Jawarn get more carries.
Yeah, me
But
too.
I think he stopped getting carries after that fumble. I think the fumble inside Illinois territory was such a big turnover that they didn't give him the ball back. And that's tough, man. That's absolutely tough. I teased at the beginning of this video, our final scene of the crime video of the year. This one brought to you by Lexington Medical Orthopedic. We got to talk about the Shane Beamer, Brett Bielema incident. I'm surprised we got 7.5 minutes into this bad boy
that's crazy.
Without talking
so much
about
happened in this game, man.
That's the thing about bowl games, Jack Veltri, in a game in which on this field back here, we had a couple get married, and it was officiated by a large, cheesy cracker mascot, right? This game sometimes presents itself as being very unserious. It's a fun bowl game. It's all laughs and giggles. We have the Cheez-It mascot acting a fool. What was his name? What was the name?
Ched Z.
Ched Z, that's right.
Bro, there was a
Ched Z.
freaking wedding today.
There was a wedding here.
It was nuts out here,
There
man.
was Cheez-It tastings in the press box. It's goofy. It's a goofy bowl game. But
very
something that was
goofy.
very serious and not so goofy was Shane Beamer needing 3 assistant coaches to hold him back after Brett Bielema went to the South Carolina sideline to assist an injured player and made a motion at Shane, and it set him off. It's all over Twitter right now. It's one of the I guess the most trending things in college football today. Shane discussed it after the game, Jack. He told us after the game that Brett Bielema was mad about the end zone play on the kickoff.
Yes.
Where was it Juju McDowell made a signal. He made the hands out signal. You can't see my other arm. My other arm is making the same thing, which is usually accepted as a fair or a touchback type deal, but it's not an official ending one, right? So then when he makes that signal, Illinois slows up. He gets the ball and then laterals it across the end zone to Nick Harbor. Nick only picks up about, 24 yards?
So it went for 25 yards, and that would have been what a touchback would have led to anyway. So
right. It was a net neutral.
It kind of could have just been avoided, to be honest. But I mean, like you said, Shane was pissed, man. He was pissed throughout this entire game.
Apparently Brett was mad about that, and then that's what made that, and then that set Shane off.
We haven't heard from Brett yet. Like, Brett is speaking to the Illinois media, obviously, but we're South Carolina. I mean, we have other things to do. But I'll be very interested to read what Brett had to say, hear what he had to say. But you can definitely tell Shane was irate at that, and honestly throughout the entire game. I mean, he had to be held back a few times today. Like, it's just, I haven't seen him like this at South Carolina a few times, but today
fiery,
was
yes, but not fiery at another coach.
Today was kind of very different. And again, Shane basically said he had never seen an opposing coach do that. Mind you, Illinois had an injury timeout. So, very, very odd situation, and something that, you know, we probably don't know all the details to it, quite honestly.
Yeah, and I think the one thing it really set Shane off that happened right next to his sideline while he was tending to an injured player. I don't know if you consider that taunting, but Brett Bielema made the hands out sign, basically saying, hey, that's not cool, even though Shane said that before the game he talked to the officials, who are Big 12 officials,
Yep.
and he told them before the game he was going to run that play and asked if it was legal, if they can get cleared. Like the difference being on a punt, if you point at the ball as it's bouncing, that's not signaling a fair catch, right?
Yeah.
You can still pick the ball up and run with it. But if the punt's in the air and you wave it off like this, that is a fair catch. Similar thing for a touchback, right?
Yeah.
If you wave your arm on a touchback, it's an automatic touchback. Whatever you do afterwards will not count. But apparently that sign right there, the Big 12 officials confirmed to Shane Beamer that you can still play on after that, right? It's more maybe of a goodwill thing. I don't want to say honor code is the right way of putting it, but a goodwill thing, I guess, to not run a play afterwards. But he did, and he got it cleared. It was legal. Brett Bielema didn't like it, and that is what explained what happened afterwards. Yep. So definitely an interesting moment. Shane Beamer was, that was already, well, nationally, that'll be the highlight of the game, is that Shane Beamer and Brett Bielema almost got into a spat. They didn't get into a spat. They didn't get into fisticuffs, but they got into it in the middle of a game in which a couple got married and officiated by a large Cheez-It cracker mascot.
Just a weird day, man. Like,
it's a weird day.
Ready to get to 2025 after this.
It's been a weird couple days, brother. It's been a weird couple days.
Yeah.
But last thing before we head out here, Jack Veltri, how are you going to remember the 2024 South Carolina Gamecocks?
This was a great team. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Today, I don't want to say today leaves a stain at all on how the season has been, because what they did during the regular season was incredible. Like, I'll remember South Carolina beating Clemson in Death Valley, that Lenore Sellers touchdown run. I just feel like today, a lot of things happened, and it does probably, like, you're going to remember this game for all the wrong reasons. Not the reasons of Illinois just beat South Carolina. You're going to remember this game for Nicky Minwari sitting out the second half because
a whole other thing too.
He decided he's done and he's gone, basically. We're going to remember this for the whole scuffle with Shane Beamer and Brett Bielema. We're going to remember this for all the different reasons, not solely like how good this team was and just how close South Carolina came to winning. Like, obviously a lot happened in this game where South Carolina could have won the game, but they didn't. And look, it's a great season nonetheless, but you would have liked to come out of here 10-3.
I'm always going to remember this team for exceeding my expectations, right? I thought this was a 6-6 team with maybe an 8-4 ceiling, 7-5, 8-4 if you're lucky, 7-5 by maxing it out, but they didn't. They won a lot of games a lot of people didn't think they'd win. They blew out Oklahoma on the road. You beat a Texas A&M team that was red hot at your place and beat them like a drum in the second half. You won 6 straight to end the season. Lenore Sellers established himself as an early Heisman candidate for next year because of how well he played in those 6 games. And those 6 games got you to where you were maybe a few plays away from being in the college football playoff. That's the fact. So I'm always going to remember this team as over-exceeding some expectations, playing incredibly well, finding itself and being a good veteran group that made this for a remarkable football season. Of course, there's so much more to talk about, so much more to reflect on with the 2024 season. Again, final score, Illinois 21, South Carolina 17. Illinois wins the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Jack Veltri. We are reporting live from the scene of the crime one last time this year. Of course, no show tomorrow. No programming tomorrow. It's New Year's Day. Enjoy the holiday. Enjoy your day off work if you have it. If you don't, I am very sorry. But there's a lot of great football on. Be able to watch all of that as well. Join us again January 2nd. It's going to be Thursday, starting at 6 a.m. with Bill, Preston, Jen in the early game. My man Jack and Tyler Head right after that. Then leading up into the midday show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head. Then myself and Jay Phillips will be taking your calls all
got
day
a lot
long.
To talk about, man.
803-404-6100. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube. As always, eternally grateful for every single one of you that have watched, comment, told me I'm dumb, whatever it is that you want to do. Thank you for all of that. It's been a fantastic season.
Man.
Appreciate everything that you guys do to consume the product and make sure that goofs like us have jobs. And of course, thanks to Lexington Medical Orthopedic for sponsoring our online coverage of the 2024 Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. With that being said, again, your boy Elijah Campbell, your boy Jack Veltri. One last time, scene of the crime. We're out. We'll see you in 2025. Happy New Year, everybody.